there, thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Today we're going to do some watercoloring. I'll put a link to all the supplies I use down in the description box in case you'd like to pick something up. So for today's watercoloring, we are using a My Favorite Things stamp set called Friends at First Sip. I stamped my images with some VersaFine Onyx Blank ink on some Arches 140-pound watercolor cold press paper. You could also use hot press paper. I just prefer the cold press because it takes more water and I tend to be a little heavy-handed with my water, so it works out best for me. I'm also using my Winsor & Newton 24 portable palette. I find that this one has bunches of colors in there and I want to get a new one, so I'm trying to use it more so that I can justify buying a new set, or if I want to upgrade and get a different kind of watercolors, I guess I better try them out and use them a bunch more so that I can decide whether or not I just want to stick with these with more colors or I want to go with another brand. All depends. Also, the brushes I'm using today are a couple of brushes I'll use later on. It is going to be a number 6 and a number 12 silver black velvet round brush, and I'm also using a Princeton Velvet Touch number 3 round, which is what I'm using now. I'm going to use the number 3 round to color most of my images in because it's small and pointy, and I just got it, so I'm kind of trying it out to see how I like it. So what I'm doing today, I'm trying to do something a little bit different. I've been watching some videos and I thought that maybe I would give it a try. So instead of getting my images wet like I usually do, I'm going ahead and I'm putting a little bit of color kind of in the spots where I want it to be darkest, and then I'm going to pull it more across their face there. On the little girl there, I was kind of trying out the light pink color first before I got started, and then I tried to do I let it dry a little bit. I don't want the ink to run across the page when I put a new layer of ink on there, so I'm letting it dry a little bit, and I think by just adding a little bit of paint in the dark areas where I want it to go, and then rinsing my brush off, dabbing the excess water off of my paintbrush, and then using just a little bit of water that's on my brush to pull that dark ink out into her face or wherever I want it to go, is maybe going to work a little bit better, but I really don't know yet. This is my first time I'm trying it out. So we'll have to wait and see how that works. But so far, I'm liking how the paper's not really wet and it's not like just looking the same as I continue to add more paint. It kind of changes colors a little bit. So for her hair, I'm adding a light shade of a brown and orange mixed together. We're going to start out with a really light color. And for the lightest color, I went ahead and put extra water in my paint so that it would be diluted. And then that way I can just use less water on my brush when I come back to make it a little bit darker. I didn't really keep track of any of the colors that I used this time. I used some red, some orange, yellow, and a bunch of browns, and then the black. And I just kind of mixed them together on my palette, and then I tried them out on a piece of scratch paper to see if I liked them. Sometimes I didn't even do that. I just put it on the image and hope for the best. But you just got to kind of mix them up because the colors that come in the palette are good as they are. But you can get even more colors if you mix those colors together and try them out and get different colors. I'm trying to learn how to mix my paints more so that I don't have to go out and buy a bunch more paints. I'll be able to just use the colors I have to make new paints without having to go buy some. Paints are not free, so I'm trying to be a little bit more conservative and use some of the stuff I already have up, and then maybe later on we can invest. If I really like it, then I can invest in some more stuff and add to it from there. I really like watercoloring, so I'm thinking that I would definitely like to take up getting a few more colors just to play around with, but I'm going to work with what I got so far. So here's another example of a sweater here. I went in and added my dark shade on the outside of my sweater, and then I washed my brush off and I dabbed the excess water on a paper towel, and then I go back in with my very lightly damp brush and just move that blue ink out further onto her sweater to add shadows. I continue to do this for all of my images, and those images, the other images you've seen there, I already colored those. If you would like to see a video on how I colored those, leave me a comment down below and I will edit it out and put it up on the channel. This one here, I just happened to color the whole thing up, and then I went and made sure I took a video of when I put the card together, but for the other ones, I forgot to do that. I went ahead and colored them, and then I just made the card up. But if you want to see the coloring on that, I would be happy to make a video for that too if you want to. Just make sure to leave me a comment down below. So here I'm going in and I'm just adding a little bit of brown to my cup to make it have a little bit of dimension. And again, I'm just coming back after it dries, and sometimes I wander off and I come back, or the child will come and bother me, or the dog will come and see what I'm doing, and so I will just leave my video room and let it dry and then come back hours later or a few minutes later or whatever. It just depends on what's going on that day. That's kind of nice about watercoloring, is you can leave it sit on the tape to your board and you can fiddle with it for as long as you want. For me, when I watercolor, I can watercolor the same image here. I probably worked on this little set of images for over an hour, just fiddling with them and having fun and messing around. I'm really liking how those boots are looking with the extra shading along the edge, and the paper looks, since I'm not saturating it so much with the water, even though this paper doesn't pill up when I used a bunch of water on there, it just feels better, I guess. Or I like how using the ink on the outside and then just lightly brushing it over with barely any water is making it look really shaded, I guess. I really like it. So here I'm going in and I'm adding some yellow stripes to my little dress there, and I'm just adding a light coat of the yellow all the way across. And then I'll come back here in a little bit and we'll add some shadows by adding a little bit of an orange tone or brown to that yellow, just to darken it up a little bit. I think these little images here in this set are really cute. You also get in this set, you get a few more little accessory stamps, and you have also another dog that you can color too. And then there's 6 sentiments that come with it. So it's a really good set, and I like the little girls there with the coffee cups. This would be a perfect card you can make up for a friend and maybe include a coffee gift card in the card so that you guys can go have coffee, or she can go have coffee, or he can go have coffee. Or you can do just, I don't like coffee, so maybe you can do a gift card for hot chocolate and a donut. I like donuts and I like tea, or I like hot chocolate, so that would work perfect for me. I also love smoothies, so I guess you can get that at the coffee shop too. I don't spend too much time at the coffee shop, so I'm totally unsure on that. So here I'm going ahead and I'm adding a little bit more shadows to my purse, and I decided I'd make it kind of have like a little V there at the top so it looked like it was kind of bent in. And then we're going back and I'm adding more shadows to my hair. I decided her hair needed to be darkened up underneath of her face there in the back, because it's going to be a little bit more shadowed in there. And I'm really liking how her hair turned out. I'm not going to bother with putting any streaks or anything in there. I'm just going to leave it all that solid color. So now I decided I needed a background. So I'm going in and I'm getting the top half of my paper all wet with the number 12 brush. And then I went in with my paper towel and I kind of dabbed off a few places that I wanted to have some cloud-like areas. And then I mixed some red, yellow, and purple paint to make this bright kind of muted pink color. I don't have pink in my palette, so I had to come up with something. And then I went in again with my paper towel and kind of dabbed some of those areas to make clouds. And then I added a little bit more red to my paint, and I went in and I just kind of dabbed it underneath where I had dabbed it with my paper towel so that it would make some like shadows underneath the clouds. And here I'm doing the same thing with the yellow. I'm just kind of going in and adding a couple of dots of color wherever I want there to be some shadows, and then I'm going in and with my paper towel and kind of dabbing some of that area up. And sometimes the water like pools at the bottom of some of those, so I'm going to take my paper towel and I dab those so that it wouldn't be so drippy at the bottom. And then I let the whole thing dry and I peeled the tape off. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our card together. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp one of the sentiments with my VersaFine ink down there on the bottom of my card. And I'm going to use the sentiment that says, "Let's have a coffee break." So I'm kind of lining it up down there where I want it to go, and then I'm going to pick it up with my stamp positioner, put my ink on it, and I'm going to stamp it a couple of times because it's waterproof, or it's water paper. Forgot what it was, watercolor paper. It's textured because it's a cold press, so I need to stamp it a couple times. And then I decided I would use this other stamp set I have that's called In Paris. It's got some really cool stamps that could be accessories. I'm going to stamp those in the background on my clouds back there so it looks like they're floating in the sky behind the girl. And that one there on the right didn't get enough on there, so I stamped it a third time. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my foam tape on the back, and I'm going to adhere that to my card front, and then I'm just going to stick down my accessory stamps here to make it all finished up. So if you'd like to see some close-up photos of my card, my finished card, head over to the store blog, and I'll put a link to that down in the description box in case you'd like to see that. And then don't forget, if you like the video, to hit the thumbs up button. I really appreciate it, and it helps my channel. Right about now, you should be seeing a screen that'll show you a couple more videos you may be interested in. If you are, just click on either one and it will take you straight to the video and you can check it out. Otherwise, I hope you're having a fabulous day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.